Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We're starting a big one.
A really big one.
61 episodes covering the history of Western philosophy.
It's a massive topic.
We're going to break it all down into digestible chunks for you, though.
It's going to be quite a ride.
It really is. We're going to be going all the way back to the ancient Greeks.
All the way through to the modern era.
You got it, and we'll be meeting some really brilliant minds along the way.
Thinkers who really changed how we think about the world.
Exactly. And we'll see how their ideas still resonate today.
You'd be surprised how relevant some of these ancient ideas still are.
So for today's deep dive, we're setting our sights on ancient Greece.
Specifically, on Plato's Cosmogony.
Plato's take on the origin and structure of the universe.
We'll be using episode 17 of Plato's Cosmogony as our main source for this one.
And for some added context, we'll be referencing Bertrand Russell's History of Western Philosophy.
Russell's a great guide for this kind of journey.
He really is. He has a way of making even the most complex ideas understandable.
And he's pretty funny too, makes it a fun read.
Okay, so let's dive in. What was Plato trying to achieve with his cosmogony?
Well, like many philosophers before him, he was trying to grapple with some pretty fundamental questions.
Like what?
Like, what is the nature of reality?
Okay, that's a big one.
It really is. What is this world we live in?
Yeah, what are we even made of?
Where did it all come from?
Those are some pretty heavy questions.
They are. And Plato was not one to shy away from a challenge.
So how did he approach these questions? What makes Plato's cosmogony unique?
Well, one thing that sets him apart is how he connected the cosmos to our human experience.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Well, you've probably heard of Plato's theory of forms.
It rings a bell, but maybe you could remind me.
Of course. Imagine you see a beautiful sunset.
I can picture it now.
Those vibrant colors.
The golden light.
Exactly. But that sunset, beautiful as it is...
Fleeting.
Yes. Sadly, it's just a fleeting moment.
It changes, it fades.
Exactly. But for Plato, there was something more. Something eternal behind that fleeting beauty.
I see. Something deeper.
Yes. He believed that there's a perfect, unchanging form of beauty.
So like a blueprint.
You could say that, existing in a realm beyond our senses.
Wow, that's a powerful idea.
It is. And it's not just beauty. There are forms for everything.
For everything.
Justice, truth, even for things like tables and chairs.
So like there's a perfect chair out there somewhere.
That's the idea. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Plato believed these forms aren't just abstract concepts.
What are they then?
They're the true reality.
Whoa, hold on. You're saying the world we see, the world we can touch, it's not really real?
That's how Plato saw it. He believed that the physical world is just a pale imitation of the world of forms.
Okay, we need a minute to process that. So how do we access these forms then?
Good question.
Because if they're beyond our senses, how can we even know they exist?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. It's something that Plato struggled with throughout his work.
I can imagine.
But he believed we can access these forms through reason.
So it's not about what we see, but what we think.
Exactly. For Plato, the mind, the intellect, was the key to unlocking true knowledge.
So it's all about thinking.
He also believed that our souls have a kind of memory of the forms from a time before we were born.
Like a pre-life memory of these forms.
Yeah, a kind of innate knowledge that we have to rediscover through reason.
That's pretty wild. It's like we're born with this hidden knowledge.
And now we have to work to unlock it.
Exactly. So for Plato, education was key.
Absolutely. Training the mind to think critically and philosophically.
Now, this all sounds very abstract and, dare I say, a bit elitist.
I see what you mean.
Was Plato just talking to philosophers?
Well, that's a great question, and it's one that's been debated for centuries.
I bet.
But it's important to remember the context.
What do you mean?
Plato was writing during a time of great upheaval in Athens.
Right, the Peloponnesian War, all that political turmoil.
Exactly. And in that context, his philosophy offered a sense of order and stability.
I see, like a grounding force.
He believed if people could understand the forms, grasp the true nature of reality, then they could live more just and harmonious lives.
So it wasn't just about ivory tower intellectualism.
No, it was about trying to create a better world.
That's pretty inspiring, actually.
It is, and that's what makes Plato so relevant, even today.
Yeah, his ideas challenge us to think about what's truly important.
To look beyond the superficial and seek a deeper meaning.
I'm starting to see why he's considered one of the founding figures of Western philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. He set the stage for centuries of philosophical debate.
Okay, this has been fascinating, but we've covered a lot.
We have.
So before we move on, let's recap what we've learned about Plato's cosmogony.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we've established that Plato was trying to understand the nature of reality.
And the world we experience.
Yes. And that he believed the physical world we experience is just a pale imitation of a more perfect and unchanging realm.
Which is
the world of forms.
Right, those eternal blueprints.
Exactly. And we can access these forms through reason.
Through philosophical inquiry.
And this quest for knowledge, for understanding the forms.
It's not just an intellectual exercise.
Right. It's about living a more just and harmonious life.
Individually and as a society.
That's a pretty powerful message.
It is. That's Plato's cosmogony in a nutshell, I'd say.
And I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, there's so much more to explore.
So stay tuned, because next time we'll be delving deeper into Plato's cosmogony.
We'll be exploring his ideas about the demiurge.
The creator of the cosmos.
Yeah.
And how this creation myth connects to our human experience.
That's been a good one.
Until then, keep those minds open and keep on learning.
See you next time. Welcome back, everyone.
We're ready for more Plato.
Excellent. Because we're about to tackle one of his most intriguing concepts.
Oh, which one is that?
The demiurge.
The demiurge. Okay, that's new one for me.
It's a pretty wild idea.
So what is it? Some kind of Greek god?
Not exactly in the traditional sense.
Okay, so what is it then?
Think of the demiurge as a divine craftsman.
A craftsman.
Yeah, a cosmic architect who shapes and orders the universe.
So, like, he's the one who created the world.
Exactly. But there's a twist.
There's always a twist with philosophy.
Right. Plato didn't believe the demiurge created the world out of nothing.
Oh, so where did it come from?
He believed there was this pre-existing primordial chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah, this formless raw material that the demiurge worked with.
I'm trying to picture.
Right. This unshaped mass, just pure potential.
And the demiurge molded it.
Yes. Into the cosmos we know.
I like that. The demiurge as a kind of sculptor.
It's a great analogy. Imagine a sculptor with a block of marble.
Chiseling away, shaping it.
Trying to create something beautiful and harmonious.
Yeah, I can see it.
And that's what the demiurge is doing.
Bringing order to chaos.
Precisely. But here's the thing.
Another twist.
Well, this act of creation, it's an ongoing process.
It's not just a one-time thing.
No. The demiurge is always working, always striving for perfection.
So he's like a cosmic tinkerer.
You could say that. But remember those forms we talked about earlier?
The blueprints for everything.
Exactly. The demiurge uses the forms as his guide.
Okay.
But he can't perfectly replicate them in the physical world.
Oh, why not?
Because the physical world is inherently imperfect.
I suppose it is.
Right. It's made of this raw, chaotic stuff.
So the demiurge is doing his best, but he can't create a perfect world.
Exactly. There are limitations.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
I like that analogy. There's always going to be some degree of imperfection.
Some leftover chaos.
You got it. So that's the demiurge.
Okay, I think I'm starting to wrap my head around it.
Good. But how does all of this connect back to us, to human beings?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, Plato believed that our souls are also a product of the demiurge's creation.
Really? Our souls too?
He believed each soul is a spark of the divine.
We're all divine.
Well, in a way, yes. Our souls are like miniature versions of the demiurge.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying we're all little demiurges running around?
Kind of. Our souls are also engaged in this cosmic struggle between order and chaos.
So we're like micro demiurges.
I like that. Our reason, our intellect, that's the divine spark within us.
And it's always trying to bring order.
Exactly. Trying to create harmony in our inner world.
But we're not always very good at it.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why are we such a mess sometimes?
Well, Plato recognized that our souls are easily swayed by our passions.
Passions like?
Desire for wealth, power, pleasure.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
And those passions can lead us astray.
So what's the solution? How do we get our act together?
Education is key for Plato.
Always learning.
We need to train our minds, develop that capacity for reason.
So we can make wiser choices.
Exactly. Both in our personal lives and as citizens.
It's not just about individual enlightenment then.
No, it's about creating a just and harmonious society.
And for Plato, what does that look like?
Well, he believed the ideal state is one where reason rules.
Reason above all else.
Yes, where philosophers are kings.
Whoa, philosopher kings.
Or at least where rulers are guided by philosophy.
I don't know about that. Sounds a bit idealistic.
It might sound strange to us now, but remember the context.
Oh, right. All that political turmoil.
He had seen firsthand the dangers of mob rule and the corruption of power.
So he thought that only those who had a deep understanding of the forms, who are wise and virtuous, should be in charge.
Exactly. He believed philosophers, those dedicated to truth and knowledge, would be the most just and compassionate rulers.
Okay, I guess in theory that makes sense.
But of course, it's not a perfect system.
Finding those wise and virtuous rulers isn't easy.
Right. Even Plato acknowledged that.
So we've got this demiurge shaping the cosmos, and our souls are like mini-demiurges striving for order and harmony.
It's a pretty grand vision.
But what about those perfect forms?
Yes, they're at the heart of it all.
Where do they fit into this grand scheme?
Remember, the demiurge uses the forms as his blueprint.
To shape the world.
He's trying to create a world that reflects those eternal ideals.
So the forms are like this ultimate source of beauty, truth, justice.
Exactly. The source of all that is good and true in the universe.
And we're all connected to them.
Yes, through our soul.
Because our souls are sparks of the divine.
Precisely. So when we experience beauty or act justly, we're tapping into those eternal forms.
You're aligning ourselves with that perfect blueprint.
You got it. It's about aligning ourselves with the cosmic order, with the essence of reality.
This is all starting to sound pretty mystical.
It is, but it's a very powerful vision.
And it had a huge impact, right?
Absolutely. Plato's cosmogony has shaped Western thought for centuries.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground again.
We have.
From the demiurge to philosopher kings, it's been quite a ride.
But we're not done yet.
There's always more.
Right. In the last part of our deep dive, we'll explore the impact of these ideas.
How have they shaped Western thought?
And are they still relevant to us today?
Big questions. We'll see you next time for the final part of our exploration into Plato's cosmogony. Welcome back, everyone. We've been on quite a journey with Plato's cosmogony.
From the world of forms to the demiurge shaping the universe.
It's been mind-bending stuff.
It has. But now it's time to step back a bit.
Get a wider view.
Yeah, and see how Plato's ideas have resonated through history.
It's amazing how a philosopher from thousands of years ago
Can still spark debate today.
I know. So what's his legacy then? How have his ideas shaped Western thought?
Well, for one thing, he's considered the father of idealism.
Idealism
The idea that the world we see
is just a shadow.
a reflection of a more perfect realm.
The world of forms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this idea, it's had a huge impact.
On everything.
Well, pretty much. From religion to art to science.
Give me an example.
Think about Renaissance painters.
Trying to capture ideal beauty.
Exactly. Or mathematicians searching for those perfect geometrical shapes.
Oh, I see.
Even those inspirational quotes we see everywhere these days.
About being your best self.
Yeah. They all echo this Platonic idea.
Of reaching for something higher.
Something beyond our everyday experience.
It's all connected back to Plato.
In a way, yes.
Okay, so his influence is clear.
Undeniable.
But how about those specific ideas? The demiurge, the forms, how did they impact later thinkers?
Well, that concept of a divine craftsman,
The demiurge?
yeah, it really resonated with early Christian theologians.
Oh, interesting. So they saw connections between the demiurge and God.
Absolutely. And Plato's emphasis on reason and the soul's immortality.
That fit in too.
It did. Those ideas found a home in Christian thought.
So even though Plato lived long before Christianity.
His ideas helped shape its development.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
It is.
But it wasn't just Christianity, right?
Nope. Plato's influence reached Islamic philosophy too.
Like who?
Thinkers like Avicenna, Averroes.
They were grappling with Plato's ideas too.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, so his reach was pretty vast.
It was, crossing cultures, religions.
And it helped fuel all that intellectual energy in the Middle Ages and Renaissance.
Absolutely. It sparked so much debate and new thinking.
So Plato's impact wasn't just about specific
It
ideas,
was about a way of thinking.
a framework.
Yeah, for philosophical inquiry.
And that framework, it inspired generations of thinkers,
You got it. He gave us a way of asking those big questions,
challenging those assumptions.
seeking deeper truths.
And that's still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now with so much information flying around.
We need to think critically now more than ever.
Question what we see, what we hear,
It's like we're all in Plato's cave.
surrounded by shadows.
We have to break free. Use our reason to see what's real.
That's the challenge.
So how can we apply Plato to our modern lives then? What wisdom can we take from him?
Well, one big takeaway is the importance of seeking knowledge,
Always be learning, right?
constantly growing,
And challenge ourselves.
to think beyond the surface.
Delve deeper into things.
And don't forget about our inner world.
Our inner harmony.
Yeah, nurture that reason and virtue
By that balance.
between our desires and our higher aspirations.
That's something we can all strive for.
And don't forget Plato's focus on justice.
The common good.
Yeah, create a more just and equitable society.
So even though he lived thousands of years ago,
His ideas still have power
to inspire us.
to challenge us.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Plato's Cosmogony.
It's been quite a ride.
Exploring his ideas about the forms, the demiurge, the nature of reality.
And we've seen how his philosophy has shaped Western thought.
And it still offers valuable insights for us today.
I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive.
And that it sparked your curiosity.
How about philosophy?
Keep those minds open, everyone.
And keep on learning.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.